All right, let me turn some music on in the background. Testing. 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 Okay, so you still can't hear the music. Okay. That feedback's about to be crazy. Testing. 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 Is it just chat?
No.
Fuck.
All I heard was a drum beat coming in as soon as I came in. It was a snare.
Interesting. What's going on, man?
Oh, long week, long time. Half my state's on fire, so it's been great.
Oh dear.
Over 100,000 acres have been burned.
Oh no.
Yep. But I'm making money. I'm alive. I think I found my new favorite comic this week. Have you seen Bloodwire?
Oh yeah, that's on my pull list. I just haven't grabbed it yet.
Cool.
We'll probably talk about it next week because I want to dive into it.
Hell yeah, because my oh my god, my person at my shop literally just put it in front of me, and I was like, okay, let's see what this is. Having no idea what it was, opening it up, and I'm like, oh dear God, I didn't even realize I was walking into this, and I am excited for it.
That's what's up.
And I hate the TikTok algorithm because I made 2 videos about it, and they're like, "No, we don't like the word sexual assault, so you need to find something different." That's why you gotta dance
around that stuff.
I know, right?
You can't trust the algorithm in this economy?
No, never.
Are you crazy?
I thought being authentic was a thing, but apparently the algorithm goes no.
Why is it only letting me type 1 letter per thing here? This is very good.
The freak is this?
Am I really about to have to sit here and type? YouTube be on that bullshit. Oh my lord. Oh, now you want to type normal. Okay. Whatever. That was weird. I don't know what made you just do that nonstop, but you know what? At least you're moving past it, so it's fine.
My computer at the comic shop is always 1 behind, and so if I'm
oh no.
Yeah, it's bad, especially when my dyslexia kicks in, and I'm like, how many? Where am I supposed to be at? Numbers and letters and spaces? I don't understand. Oh my god,
that sounds stressful.
I'm over the 250 celebrations.
Honestly, I've purposely avoided the whole America 250 thing because I'm like the things that are so wrong with this country, it would take so long to dissect. So like we shouldn't really be celebrating our country right now.
Just because she had a bag, we're okay, Zuzu. 1 second, let me go check my dog.
Have fun. The struggles of having a canine, I swear. But hopefully folks that are chilling in chat with us are having a good time. We ready to kick off here in a minute. Let me know you here. We'd love to talk to y'all as we dive into this because this is technically episode 49 because we're playing catch up. We were supposed to have episode 49 the week the episode 50 came out. Oh wait, comments are disabled. Why? Oh, because I haven't done that stupid thing where I uncheck it. Because no, it's not made for kids. That's why. I hate that shit. Riverside needs to address that. Okay, now everyone should be able to talk. Sorry about that.
Whoa.
I hate that stupid thing where it's like you have to mark it where it's not safe for kids for people to be able to talk about.
Let's get chat pulled up. I know I can see chat somewhere on here. There we go.
Okay.
But I'm not even like the 250 celebration on everything else that happened. It's everything else that I'm seeing that's tagging on to the 250 that I get to see, to where there's like advertisements going on that it's like, we're celebrating the 250. And I'm like, y'all are late on this. It's been 250 for a minute now, it feels like. Because I mean, I know it technically doesn't count until the 4th, but like all year it's been 250. Y'all should have been writing those sales if you really were like being on it.
Honestly.
Where's those 250 house sales? That's what I'm looking for.
Man. Especially with all the drama that's been going on, man. It'd be crazy.
Man, I'm so mad about that bill. I'm so mad about that bill. Corporations gonna stop buying property.
Hey, what up, Smoke?
But no.
Bro, then the new Daredevil season 3 costume leaked, and I'm like, that. I don't know if I like that.
I didn't even know. I completely forgot about that. I need to jump on that this week when I go camping. I'm going to download all those episodes and watch it out there.
How many times are you going to go camping? Dear Lord.
As many times as I can fit it in before the snow gets here. Heck, we might not even have snow, so I could go camping all year long.
Look at that ish.
Why does it look like he has gills on the side?
I think that's just like texturing, but I see what you're saying. It looks like he has the deep skills, yeah. Looks a little weird.
It feels just off to me. Like maybe I've just seen too many superhero costumes now that I just go like, give me the originals. I don't need any remakes anymore. Like I love the remakes. I love the looks to the new suits, but it's just like something just always feels off when you throw me a new suit at the first time I look at it.
It won't let me type your freaking your at in the bottom section.
My entire at.
It won't let me put like I don't know why like my keyboard's just having issues. I'm trying to put your at in like the lower title portion. It took away mine too. What the fuck? Okay, whatever. You know what? This is irritating me. There it goes. Okay, well, let me do mine. Like you gotta put yours in the title section.
I ain't stressing.
Okay,
name changes up like every 3 years, so they'll find me eventually again.
Oh my god, whatever. And then we found out a certain lady is coming back next season as well, so that's gonna be entertaining.
See, like, I know this is just an artist rendition, but like the cover for Daredevil, like that's what I want to see from the TV shows.
What do you mean?
I'm dropping it in the chat for you. Like the full red, which is like, I don't know, more shadowing than darkness added to it, to where it's just like it's the full red suit and he's in the shadows. That's what I think like.
The issue is that like I think these studios think no one wants just a bright red suit, so they keep trying to add extra to it. Like, let's make it black, and it's like, no one asked for that. Like, no one wants that.
I'm fine with the black suit if they do it like, what was it in the? Oh my gosh, what? I'm spacing on the Young Justice. There we go. On the Young Justice, when they go into like stealth mode and they get the black suits, you know, like I'm cool with that. Give us the black suits real quickly, and then you pop out of them, you know, like it makes sense for that scenario. But
okay,
yeah.
It's just real interesting.
Odd. It just feels odd to me.
But like, we'll definitely talk about that more as like the filming goes on and whatnot. I only talked about the Luke Cage shit because it was Luke Cage, but like we are getting a certain lady back, and that's gonna be entertaining to talk about once that show does come out. So Batman's new butler is named Verity Pennyworth. Who the fuck? God damn it!
I did see that. One of my buddies was talking to me at the shop about it, and he's 50-50 on it. He's like, I need to continue reading to kind of see how it goes.
Interesting. We'll see what happens with that as time goes on. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into this stuff because it's gonna be a fun episode 49. We're playing catch up, and like people gonna give me shit, but I don't care. It's my show. I don't give a fuck. Let me see how the screen looks. Because like they're like, oh well, episode 50 should have been episode 50. I don't give a fuck. We were gonna do episode 49, but then the boycott had a bunch of drama, so that kind of caused issues. So you know what? This is episode 49, and if you don't like it, I don't care. That's how I feel about it because it's my goddamn show. That's the fact of the matter, children. Did they move the thing where you can move people in this damn thing? I think they did.
I'm on top now. Ha 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 ha.
It's like you're on top. You're like I wanted to be on the left-hand side, but I can't even like shift it for some reason. I might have to just like make a frame. And then like as long as no one leaves or fucks with their shit, I can just like put everybody in frames. I might do that next time.
I forgot to talk to them about Dispatch. Oh no.
Dispatch? What's a Dispatch? Like the
It's
game?
the comic book next week. I think it might be based off the game. I just saw it and I was like, oh, another thing from Ignition Press. I'm on it.
Oh, that's something different. Okay. Want to make sure I have that pulled up, that we can talk about it because everybody has been tripping about this Miles news, and I'm like, why?
What Miles news am I missing this week?
So I'll drop it in the chat. That like IGN got an exclusive like month early preview for issue 1 of the new run, and it's caused a lot of drama, and I'm like,
I'm jelly. I want a month early preview.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. I mean, you're a retailer. You should have been read this damn book, but like that's neither here nor there.
I know, right? Let me be able to at least talk to people about it.
I know, right? Okay. Let me go ahead. All right, let me do the intro. What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for Comics Unmasked, the podcast where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are back once again, folks. Once again, we are back after a bit of a long hiatus. Had to heal the mentals, take some breaks, like just be there for yourself was the main goal, because this is one of them things where we had to recover. We will get into some of the stuff that happened, but the point is that we are back. This is a ceremonial episode 49. I know it's gonna look weird. I'm gonna have to like delete 50 to put 50 back on top, which is fine, but make sure you go listen to issue 50 of the show, because that was an amazing interview I did with Joseph Illidge, our first ever 2-time guest, Quinn McGowan, Greg Burnham, and ChrisCross, to talk about Noir is the New Black, which actually is on Kickstarter right now. We'll be doing a highlight of a bunch of different Kickstarters that are going on right now that you can support, so definitely go check that out, because that is an amazing Kickstarter that you have an opportunity to read those anthology series, so definitely check that out. We will have links to that in the show notes. My name is JP. To my left, we have Afro Baggins himself, the man who makes cloaks fashionable again. B-Rex, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I broke down in the woods a week ago and had to ask a group of white people with an American flag in the very middle of their area for help. And they fixed my truck and got me home so I could be ready for this podcast, because I was freaking out that Sunday. Trust me, I was freaking out.
This man almost got lost in the woods. It's crazy. It's crazy.
We did just get lost in the woods. We were in the middle of the forest, and I was like, all right, I need help with towing a trailer. I sent the video to you for that one of the dude literally picking up my trailer by himself. I had Bruce Banner like mixed with the Hulk, like they've done in the MCU, picking up my trailer and hauling it away. Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. You always have adventures when you're in the woods, and you bring your comic books with you so you can at least enjoy the time when you're broken down.
It's wild, man. Like all the stuff that's been going on, and then you go in and like you're the only person I know, the only black person I know that is excited about going camping. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially in Utah of all places. You want to go camping in Utah?
I gotta get away from the city, dude. Like, there's so much that goes on here that it's just like, I'd rather have to deal with like the unknown craziness because the like known craziness of the city here, it's crazy. And I can at least deal with a cow every so often wandering through my camp.
All right. Don't forget, folks, that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places. You can find us at iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Audible. And it is going to be a great time for y'all today because we have plenty of stuff to talk about. So let's dive into the first main topic of the evening, which is what happened with DC Blackout. A lot of people saw the one video, and then Ernie Blur Without Fear put out a video, and the issue at hand was we had announced the boycott. We had planned everything. We had did all the calculations. We had the conversations that we needed to have behind the scenes, and still some people were not happy with what we were going about. There was concerns about Pride Month. There was concerns about like the black creators at DC. There was concerns about the women who were working at DC in terms of the different books they were working on. The people still to this day feel that us not valuing Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Catwoman was a problem. And it then started to sort of just like be this giant pile that felt encompassing, where people felt we weren't organized despite us saying we were organized. We said, this is what we're doing. You don't have to join us, but this is what we are doing. We felt this was important. We needed to send a message to DC. And people started saying so many things like you're transphobic, you're anti-black against your own people, this, that, and the third. And then the final nail dropped where people started lying about our intentions and started to say that we were doing things for clout. And it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? Fine. I'm done. And it backed off to where we said this is the best thing that we need to do because we never intended to be disrespectful to the creators. We were trying to help and make things better. We were trying to send a message because we were tired of putting money in one hand and getting nothing out of the other. We felt that because there were so many individuals who were saying, oh, well, why don't you want to support this book or that book or that book? And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to do a boycott and just go, here, I'm going to take your money away and I'm going to put it in your other hand. And it just like, it wasn't clicking to so many individuals. But then it was the idea that people were trying to lie about our intentions and try to say that we didn't answer everyone's concerns. And it was just like, cool. So we're going to take a step back. We're going to do what needs to be done and take a step back. And we're going to watch what happens because it's been over a month now. DC has said nothing. There is no announcements of any ongoings. We could go more months without any announcements. And there were some people that tried to say, oh, well, they know what's coming. They see what creators are saying. And it's like, we don't know anything. Things could change. Things could happen. Like anything could change in a moment because we know plenty of books over the years that have been canceled. There's plenty of things that have happened. And it got to a point where so many individuals chose to lie on my name. And I was like, fine. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I'm going to go back to talking about the black books that I care about, going to talk back about the things that I care about, the different things that I was doing initially. And I'm going to be taking like a personal inventory of if DC ever does announce Mr. Terrific, Static, Black Lightning, Steel, Green Lantern John Stewart or Joe Mullen, Vixen, whatever. If it ever does come, I'm gonna see how many people pull it on New Comic Book Day. I'm gonna see how many people pre-order that book. And that's going to be the determinant because there were so many individuals that wanted to be down my neck, wanted to be in my comment section saying this, what aboutism, and yada yada. And I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. So let's see what happens. And if you prove all the racists right, that black books don't sell, at that point, I don't know what to tell you. Like genuinely, because I'm gonna do everything in my power to help and promote and do like like if it doesn't matter if it's next year, it doesn't matter if it's next year, 2 years, 3 years. If the clock hits 2,000 days, I will be there with bells on to promote those books. But it's going to be really interesting to see how this develops and see who actually promotes it. I'm going to be really interested to see if DC actually promotes the books because as we saw with the Dakota incident, they didn't do anything. And that was one of the main reasons why we boycotted in the first place. Because even if there had been conversations that had been had, or even if there had been rumors or announcements, or even this weekend, creators or at Anaheim Fan Expo hinting at things coming at San Diego, even if that does happen, is DC going to promote it? Is DC going to do anything with it? Or is DC going to explain how sales work? Because what if we have another Green Arrow situation where it gets canceled and everyone's like, but I bought it digitally. Hey, buddy, guess what? Digital doesn't matter. Digital never matters. They made that very obvious multiple different times. And it's so funny how so many people wanted to lie and lie about my intentions, lie about everything. And it really got in my head. It made me feel like a fraud. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat shit. So it made me to a point where I almost didn't want to do the show anymore. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna let them ruin all the hard work that I've done. I'm not gonna let them ruin the legacy that my dad left, where he went into a comic shop not knowing anything about comic books and got me shit. So it made me I had to come back because I wasn't about to just give up and let people just exist in a space where they wanted to lie about me. And Mal put it really perfect in the YouTube chat where he said concerns were answered. They just didn't like the answer. And that is the philosophy of why the boycott ended. Is concerns were answered, folks just didn't like the answer. Camp After Hours said, it kind of feels like DC only cares about white straight male leads, especially with what the how they've been treating Wonder Woman. We gonna get to that.
And
Don't you
that's the
worry.
thing is like this past month, I've sat back, I've been making my videos over on TikTok, and then I've been just watching everybody else post what they've been wanting to post. And then everything that I'm seeing are concerns that we brought up into this boycott. Everything that I'm seeing about how you guys feel about how your characters are being treated, on how you want to see these characters being put in place, it started with this. And we weren't saying like, oh, just because you're dropping DC doesn't mean that you don't love these characters, because as a DC fanboy, I love all these characters. I want to see all of them thrive. But to see them all thrive means that DC needs a hit in their wallet. And DC's just never going to get it, apparently. That's just how it feels to me.
It's so funny too because I think the most frustrating part was I had like one of my first YouTube videos planned where like I've been planning on getting into YouTube content, wanting to do more long form content. I wanted to do a video talking about how DC, despite how much they say they love Pride Month and does the DC Pride specials, and Dreamgirls came out and that was very good. Extraño, DC's first openly gay superhero, is constantly being disrespected by DC despite an open apology from their editor in chief at the time after the Pulse nightclub shooting in the anthology Love is Love. He is constantly being disrespected, where he's only dusted off the broom closet and allowed to come out and play during Pride Month, or if a writer actually cares about him, like Steve Orlando, and that's it. And I had a whole video planned. Shout out to Yancey. Like shout out to a couple other people that I had worked with when it comes to getting the audios recorded for it. Where I genuinely reached out to different content creators and was like, "Will you be down to record this audio for me of the original Love is Love pages that DC drew and Edidio wrote?" Where I was like, I want to talk about this and let people know and talk about the legacy of Extraño because I felt he was so disrespected over the years. Dude was literally bit by an AIDS vampire. And this is still something that exists in DC Comics lore and has never been addressed, other than that one, other than that one apology from Data Dio. And I really wanted to talk about it. I wanted to show that you may enjoy this little weekly handout from DC, but where's the love for Extraño? Where's the love for Midnighter and Apollo? Where's the love for Batwoman prior to this new series written by her creator? And people were just happy with the little bit they were getting because they saw it as enough. And that's great. I'm happy for you. But DC ain't giving you nothing with those characters moving forward. Do you see anything through December to September? Well, I don't see anything with Galaxy or Dreamer anywhere. Do you?
And that's even the whole thing too, is like with Batwoman or with Wonder Woman, the like concept, they have a wonderful series that they could have announced earlier, but they're veering away from Wonder Woman completely. And it
Mhm.
saddens me because I thought it was a trinity, but now it just feels like a duo at this point.
Oh, we definitely, yeah. The issue with Wonder Woman is definitely going to get really interesting as we talk about this because, yeah, it has been something that has been very frustrating to me as we've been diving into this because I have loved the help and the work that people have been like talking about this. Like, I will say, and I definitely agree with Wonder Woman's take on TikTok, where she said there's a lot of people being performative about Wonder Woman even though they really didn't show any support for Wonder Woman prior to this. They didn't show. It's kind of like the whole DC white DC so white situation with the black characters and whatnot. They didn't really want to stunt and talk about Wonder Woman during the Mount Rushmore talks, and but they wanted to discount her and disrespect Wonder Woman and things like that. I've always said from jump, Wonder Woman is a part of the Mount Rushmore. And there was a lot of people who were being performative and saying this, that, and the third, like, oh, Wonder Woman should get this and this and that and that. And it's like, where have you been this entire time? So it will, but we'll definitely dive into that. I just wanted to speak on this real quick, talk about how why the boycott, and then talk about my feelings because truthfully, I had that whole video planned, and being called anti being called transphobic and being anti-trans and anti-lesbian, it left such a bad taste in my mouth from my own queer community, like me being queer. It made me feel so shunned that I didn't want to make the video. That's why you saw the article about Extraño go out on Comics Beat, because I felt so shunned by my own community that I didn't want to make a video highlighting a character that I cared about. I had two other videos that I wanted to make this month talking about Jace Butcher from House of Slaughter. I had another video where I wanted to highlight freaking I'm blanking right now because it's been a minute since I was filming everything. I was talking about Snagglepuss. I had so many plans for this month for Pride Month, where I wanted to raise the bar from what I did for Black History Month, and I just felt so put off and shunned, where I was just like, I'm good. And I did the one article for Extraño. I was very proud of it. My editor liked it a lot. And now I'm about to start pushing for other things. And those videos will come at some point. I'm gonna make a point to do them outside of Pride Month. That way it doesn't feel like I only cared about it during Pride Month, because that's not how this works. I care about queer issues and black issues all the time. But I was just very put off by that situation to where I just didn't want to talk about it right now. And to be honest with you, this is probably the worst Pride Month I've had since coming out of the closet, because I just felt so shunned by my own people. So it sucks, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about some other shit, because this is very much going to be the there's some cool shit that's happened episode, but this is also gonna be the goddamn episode where a lot of stupid stuff has been talked about, a lot of stupid stuff has been going on, and we're definitely going to be diving into it real quick. So, first thing on the docket was that IGN, I'm even going to pull this up real quick. This is this has been a fun one to look at because so many individuals have been raising a stink about this. IGN got an exclusive preview to the upcoming Miles Morales Spider-Man book, written by Brian Edward Hill, and I have been sitting here just perplexed as I look at these pages, because one thing that Brian Edward Hill had said during the like press release for the book originally is that Miles is going to have a new love interest in this story, in this run. And a lot of people have been very upset about this. And then it only got worse when the preview pages came out and they showed this like young girl who's gonna be walking around with Miles and that she's the new love interest and whatnot. And a lot of people have been very upset about this because for the longest time, Miles has had a girlfriend, and to our knowledge, like as far as we are aware, unless it happened off panel or unless they're going to talk about it in the first few issues of the run, Miles still has a girlfriend, and they're going to have to break it off just to deal with this because he's been dating the granddaughter of the Vulture, Tiana Toombs, for the longest time, aka Starling. And ever since the Saladin Ahmed run, they've been an item. So I'm sitting here perplexed and trying to understand why Hill would make a choice like this, why Hill would pivot and just say, nah, I'm good. I don't want Miles to deal with that. Because it feels like for the first time since Saladin Ahmed took over Miles and then Cody Ziegler took over, that the new writer isn't respecting what the previous writer did, and I'm sitting here going, we're having a regression. That's not good. And it's like he's a junior, senior in high school. He's been growing up. He's like he's not in college. Like he's been kind of just stuck in high school. But I'm also just like, why are you changing up his relationship? He had one of the only like good black relationships in comics. And not to say anything wrong about like the young Asian girl, like someone even tried to say on Twitter that people were like, oh well, you wouldn't say this if it was a young black girl. Yeah, I would, because there was no context, there was no
It feels
relationship breakup.
forced. It feels forced is
Yes.
the issue. And like if even if they do end up writing it into the story for this particular reason, it's going to feel forced for this story. It's not going to feel like there was a genuine moment of them going through and breaking up. And now
Mm.
we're hindsight's going to be 2020 after this ends up getting released. Somebody else is going to have to write a little mini story that's going to go in between this one and the previous one that's going to talk about the breakup, and then they're going to have like another mini series that goes on for a little bit, and we're going to be getting a story that we didn't necessarily actually ask for, which feels odd to me because they could have just kept the continuity. If you're adding a love interest, keep the same love interest, or if you really need to add a secondary love interest into this, then you can have the whole triangle thing. But it feels kind of, why does Miles need that for his character developments? That's kind of where I'm at that point.
Right. It feels very bizarre. And like when you look at the preview image, it kind of even shows Gwen on his like my little communicator watch thing. And I'm like, now you're making things even weirder. And it's just
See, and
like,
that's the thing, is like there's still a whole group of people that think that like Gwen and Miles are a thing and everything like that. So people are going to be coming into this expecting one thing, and then there's other people who know another thing, and then we're all going to have a twist here that's going to be like my head's doing a 180. This that, like it feels odd.
here's what concerns me. Like they're even hinting at a new villain. Like things look really cool. They're hinting at the idea that they're going to explore um Jefferson Davis's life as a shield agent, because we haven't really talked about that since Bendis's run. And like people, I had a feeling people were gonna like judge me talking about this and have an opinion and be like, well, what gives you a right to question what the writer is doing? My credentials are behind me. I have all 3 omnibuses and all of Cody Ziglar's 42-issue run sitting behind me. So, like, my credentials are very I also have the original, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man poster for when it first came out, when I was, like, a kid, like, 15 years ago. So, I very much have shown that I'm a Miles Morales fan. I've been a day one for a long time now. So, if you got something to say about what I'm throwing down, and like I don't have really anything else to show besides that. I have the knowledge, I've read the runs, I know everything. So me throwing shade isn't me trying to be disrespectful to Brian Edward Hill's vision or anything like that. I'm just sitting here questioning, why would he do this? Why would he throw this? And Joseph Ashley said perfectly in chat, is this like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams with Star Wars not keeping story together? It kind of feels like that. If you can, yeah, you're not wrong there. It kind of feels like that because it just. I feel like it kind of also throws the same kind of thing that people have been saying for a long time, that not Miles, Marvel doesn't really have any direction. Marvel editorial doesn't know what they're doing, and it feels very disjointed and not really considering what has been going on. Miles's book has been one of the most successful things coming out of Marvel for the past few years. Why would you not want to continue that? I don't understand. It
It
yeah.
it really throws me because the artwork is really good. I'm scanning through the pages and I'm loving the art. It looks amazing, but it's one of those things to where like we get so many of these X-Men like catastrophe stories that are happening, and we're getting all of these things that are going on with the Avengers, and it feels so separate and in this universe, and nothing is like connecting for me, you know? Like I just got done reading Storm's Earth Mightiest Mutant. Love the story, absolutely amazing, but what's going to happen next? Where's the build up into extra things, you know? It feels like Marvel's very much of, I'm going to have this build up, and then here's your quick event that's going to be off into maybe the comics you may be reading, maybe not be reading, and you have no idea that happens, and then you're going to have to play catch up. Like that's how Marvel feels like it's been throwing at me for the past few months since I've been trying to catch on, and it gets confusing for new readers. It really does.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because like you want to have something of a status quo for characters, and like I was having a conversation with like a few people about like off panel and whatnot, where I was like, if like someone was even like, oh well, Miles is in college now. Miles ain't in college. Like, I would love for Miles to be in college. I would love for Miles to have some growth. I would love for Miles to do more than just be like this high
Like
school kid. But like
if
we
they
can't
threw
even
him
do
into
that.
college, I could maybe even like consider the whole breakup thing because people grow and change at that point. But the fact that you've still kept him in high school lets me know that he has the same maturity that he's basically has throughout high school. You know, like the high schoolers, they do change throughout 4 years, but it's not that big of a change.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be reviewing the book when it comes out. This definitely is going to be talked about when it comes to the Wonder Woman of it all as well. Is what's really frustrating is the idea that people like myself and B, we're going to be buying this book out of obligation. It's this idea that a lot of times we feel like we have to buy books out of obligation because otherwise we won't get more of them. And it's kind of the same thing with like how people are going to support Supergirl right now, or people are like trying to show that Wonder Woman matters. Wonder Woman is going to be a whole topic of this episode. And I didn't even put her on the thumbnail. I might remake the thumbnails later. Like the issue at hand with that entire debacle is this idea that genuinely so many marginalized groups feel like they have to support things out of obligation, otherwise they won't get more of it. That's why it's been so frustrating with things like Black Panther. We haven't had a Black Panther book ongoing in over 800 days because it was getting to a point with things like John Ridley's run and Eve Ewing's run where people felt like they were buying out of obligation even though they didn't like the run. But like the problem with a lot of these publishers is they just see low numbers for marginalized characters as, oh, you don't want more of that. You don't want us to change the creative team like we'll do with white books. You just don't want more of that. And it's like, who said that? Who said any of that? Did you look at the reviews? Did you see the review scores? Or did you just see low sales? Because with white books like Batman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, etc., y'all will go look at the reviews. You'll see if people don't like the art. Why is it with Black Lightning or Power Company or Steelworks or Black Panther or whatever, or like any women-led titles or queer-led titles, you will be so quick to say, we're not even gonna humor the reviews. We're just gonna take it off the pile and say, nah, we're good. That's how we're at over 1,200 days. That's how we're at 800 days for Black Panther. Is this idea that they don't value us?
And there's the thing is I don't want to have to buy these books out of obligation. I really don't, because there's some of these cases to where like I'm going to pick up maybe a Black Panther run and not enjoy it, and then as somebody who's a mixed black person, I may not have all the loyalty to Black Panther, so I'm not going to continue to pick up that book. And then now we're at 800 days, so congratulations. Like now everybody's stuck in this little loophole to where I want more Black Panther. I just also don't want to feel like my money gets wasted by Black Panther too. Like there's that give and take from a company, and I really wish they'd listen to the community a little bit more, because we have a lot of good ideas. We know what we want to see, and you guys know how to relay that. We've been doing it for months and years now about it, and all they have to do is listen, and they can be like, oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
We'll take that idea and we'll take it for free. I think that was one of the things we were doing for the first half of the podcast was, here's a free idea, DC.
It just be real weird where it's like people don't want to listen, people don't want to have those actual like thought processes, but it's just very interesting. But let's go ahead and dig into the thing that I know a lot of people are interested to hear my thoughts on. Oh, are you really about to make me show ads? Are you serious? Oh my god, Variety, you're killing me. Okay. So, well, Annecy Film Festival was this past week, and we saw no, not sure it was an Annecy Film Festival, Annecy Animation Festival. And they had and DC came out, they revealed a bunch of different things that they were excited about, and we got a bunch of different announcements that normally we'd be very excited about. But at the same time, there was a lot of things that were announced that just have me scratching my head and wondering where's the logic. So let's start from the top and give our initial thoughts, and then we're going to talk about the issues with all this. So, B Rex, you're the Joker fanboy. Are you excited for Joker Laugh Riot?
I I'm 50-50 on it. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't think it was going to be a thing. I'm sitting here and I'm like, yes, is the Joker fanboy. Thank you for feeding me more Joker, but like, why? Like, I don't like the Joker just showing up because he's the Joker. I like the Joker showing up because he's the like villain to Batman, because he's a good anti-hero, not anti-hero. He's a good villain at that case, you know? He
Mm,
can play that weird like tanglement with other villains and try to manipulate their minds and all that other stuff. So like if this isn't a Joker Wars level scenario kind of thing, then like I don't need it, you know?
that's a great way to put that. Honestly, I didn't ask for this. I didn't need this. And I'm sitting here going, why does this exist? Like, I'm even gonna make a Joker reference in a few minutes where in regards to all this, but I also just am like, why? Um, Crypto is getting a new animated TV show. B, how you feel about Crypto the Super Dog getting a new animated TV show?
See, now this one's for my nephew because my sister's a huge Superman fan, so I'm a little more soft on this one. Didn't ask for it, but I'm like, I'm a dog person. I'll be okay with this one. I'm probably not going to sit down and watch every episode, but if my nephew forces me to watch it, I'm going to end up watching it.
Mm, okay. Now, then we got the announcement of a star. It's not featured here. I'll pull like a picture up in a second. We are getting a Starfire animated show. What are your thoughts about a Starfire focused animated TV show?
I'm concerned that they're going to go crazy with the character. But I'm
Mm.
interested in it at least because it's somebody who like I'm familiar with and I want to see more of. So at least they're starting off with something good there, but I'm worried we're gonna have to go through the whole fiasco of when they like made Starfire black in the Titans, and then when they decided to change other things up here, and everybody's just having this huge fiasco instead of like enjoying the fact that we got to see Starfire, you know? Because
Yeah.
you don't get Starfire, and the fact that she's actually getting a solo like series, she's actually getting some love. I'm actually happy to see that. I wish other characters would get love, but I'm not knocking the love that she's getting.
I think what interests me is the pitch for the show because they're saying it'll be a team of alien girls featuring Crush Lobo's daughter, Fern. I don't know who that is. I'm probably like an old obscure character. I can't think of who that is. Princess Amethyst from the Vega Galaxy. Hayden Welch, famous from Teen Titans animated series, who will be returning to voice Starfire in this TV show. A short clip of Starfire versus Blackfire was shown. Lobo, Gotham City, and Thanagarians will be making an appearance. Large title cards will be featured to display new locations, creatures, and characters similar to Suicide Squad, and it's an 11-minute show per episode. I think what bothers me is that we saw from the giant marquee that they posted, like in lieu of the festival, that it not only is featuring a previously voiced Starfire voice actress, but also it looks very Teen Titans Go inspired in its animation. And I'm sitting here like, do we need more of that? Wouldn't it make more sense to give people unique products? Like I'm scratching my head at this one. Like this could have been more, and you chose to make it lesser. What is the
The
thought behind that?
the thing that I have for that one is because like it's a kids show, so I get that, but I don't need them to go down the like route that Teen Titans Go did, because as like entertaining as the TV show can be here and there, they drop some really funny stuff. It's very much of just like hit you with a joke. If it doesn't land, we're moving on to the next one, and then it's just that continuation thing. Versus the like Teen Titans that I got when I was a kid, there was almost like gravity to the show that you're watching, you know? And I would like to see, because kids can take that gravity when it comes to watching their television. I would like that maturity to be there for these kids now. If they can put that
Exactly.
gravity in there, it would be so relieving for me. But the
Right.
animation style is going to let me know it's going to be more Tom and Jerry esque than anything else.
And see, like, I would expect the Starfire show to be more like the My Adventures of Superman and the My Adventures of Green Lantern, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm sitting here thinking, like, there's this idea that children can't have adult ideas or at least more mature, like you were saying, this like animation. Like we had like a anime-esque version of Thundercats when we were growing up. We had all these different shows that felt very mature for television. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one I think of a lot. And I'm just sitting here like, y'all don't respect these children's intelligence. Why wouldn't you give them something of more substance? I don't, but we'll see what happens. Might be a good show. I don't know. Like there's been some episodes ago that I like. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Then there was the controversial one, quote unquote. I was saying quote unquote on purpose because it wasn't the actual controversial one. The My Adventures with Green Lantern showed not only a preview but some images where the show is set in LA at Hal Jordan Memorial High. Characters like Kyle Rayner, Alex DeWitt, Nikki Jones, and Thomas Rowe will be important a part of Jessica's high school life. I wonder if Kyle Rayner is going to be an art teacher. um, Jessica Cruz trains in a temple to understand what it means to be a Green Lantern. She has to sing the oath, and that's interesting. And the show will apparently feature yellow and red lanterns. Um, I'm excited for this. I think it'll be dope. I think it'll be very enjoyable, especially after the quality of My Adventures of Superman. My issue with it is the reaction from a lot of individuals online when it comes to her slight cameo in My Adventures of Superman this past season, where she had a small little cameo where like she's wearing a Supergirl shirt and she like asks people like she has to ask a question of Supergirl and and says like how much that Supergirl means to her compared to Superman. And so many individuals had a problem with this depiction of Jessica, saying that it's not comic accurate. And I'm sitting here going, I don't think even Jeff Johns wants the idea of her being Power Ring to be featured in anything. I don't think that, like, you have to go down this idea that, like, her PTSD was so extreme that it turned her into Power Ring, which is basically just a yellow lantern at the end of the day. Like, her fear overwhelmed her to that degree. You can still explore her fear, you can still explore her origins, but I still think there's substance to be had with this show. And I feel like a lot of people are being dismissive of the show just because it stars like her, like a female character. Like, it can have some changes. Like, there's been changes with Batman since fucking Adam West. Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like just allow them to make a good product. Like having comic accuracy doesn't need to be the most focal point every time. And I feel like we're at a point now where it's like they're having Hal Jordan Memorial High School, which makes my heart very happy as
See,
somebody who has a
I
high
got more
disdain for Hal
excited about
Jordan.
this than most of the other announcements. Like that's how I feel about this so far. Like this actually feels like something I would want to sit down, watch, and actually see more progression that's going on here. Even though I know they're like de-aging these kids or de-aging them to being high schoolers and stuff like that, it still
Mhm.
feels nice because there's a breath of levity there. Like this makes sense in the concept of Green Lanterns. They're part of the
Mm.
Green Lantern Corps. All right, they're all in high school now. They're all in a group of high schoolers together. They're all working together at different tables but still being Green Lanterns in some kind of way. You know, like there's so many aspects and avenues you could go down that there actually gives fun possibilities, it feels like.
Yeah. So it feels like this was just getting a lot of over hate for no reason. There's a lot to be like there's a lot of enjoyment to be had with this product. And I feel like folks need to quit being real crappy about it and just enjoy the product. Like just have fun. I don't understand where the nonsense is coming from. And people need to just have fun with things. But that's just me. Like, if this was live action and like it was the first time a character had ever been featured, I'd be a little bit more strict about it. But this isn't the first time Jessica Cruz has been in a product. So I'm like, whatever. Like just have
Let's have
fun.
some fun. Exactly.
Now, what I'm gonna be a little bit more strict about is the next one because the timing of it all feels real deliberate and real disgusting, and we're gonna dive into this. So the other thing that was shown on the marquee that everyone took real note of was this young man right here in his little faded Jerry curl, this young girl in a Flash-esque costume, and this Plastic Man young version everyone saw. And and then like we got the announcements from the panel where the show is going to be called DC Superpowers. It is based off the old toy line. And the pitch for the show is going to be the Justice League Academy, where you have different teachers, like I think it is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Black no, Mr. Terrific and Black Canary. And they will be the ones teaching these students. And you have Jefferson Pierce, Lightning, um Jesse Chambers, Flash, Plastic Man, Guy Gardner, unnamed version of Aqua Girl, because there's two, Terra, and they're all gonna be students at this Justice League Academy learning how to use their powers and things. And Lightning receives a lightning blast power up, as in Plastic Man receives hardening as rewards for acts of heroism. And I'm trying not to be so on point with this, but I'm sitting here like this sounds like a bunch of creatives in Hollywood thought they knew better about comic books than actual comic book people, because this is a lot different than the Jessica Cruz thing, where at least they're keeping the core of what the character is in a focal point. Like, she has her own fears, like she struggles with who she is. She like she'll still be a Green Lantern and things of that nature. But then you see Black Lightning made into a child. Keep in mind though, the character that is very well known for being a teacher and being well known for being a mentor to the next generation. Jesse Quick being called the Flash when she is always supposed to be Jesse Quick or Liberty Bell, which means, and like the fact that they're like making her look very Flash-esque is trying to harken to the CW show, because they really didn't tie any of her like lineage to the TV show, which was annoying. And then Plastic Man and the guy Gardner, and I'm just like, you know how many teen superheroes we have in our back catalog you could have made a TV show about? Like, I could name 6 different kids you could have pulled out of your hat. That like, none of them being any of these, like, at least like Jesse's the one legacy hero out of this whole well, I think I took that back. Unnamed Aqua Girl, and which I'ma laugh hysterically if this Aqua Girl ends up being Mara. That's gonna be real funny because you had 2 options for Aqua Girl and you chose the wrong thing, the third unknown option. And
I didn't even think about that. I'm still just jaw dropped that they're still trying to like shoehorn Tara into everything at this point.
Right?
Because like I get that they're trying to give her a soft like relaunch and all of that other jazz, but like this isn't the place to do it. Not for this character and here. Like, you guys need to think something through to write this character to becoming someone good, instead of just being like, and now they're in the Justice high school. Now they're going to school with all the other people who were in the Justice League for some reason, or who are going to be a part of the Justice League. But meanwhile, not going to see any of the actual people that she was introduced with when she was a child already.
Like, like, there's so many heroes you could have made a part of this, like Cassie Sandsmark, Tim Drake Robin, Connor Kent, bring him back because you have Jonathan Kent in My Adventures of Superman. You could have freaking Damian Wayne for all I care. Like, you could have Masi Menos. You could have had Empress from Young Justice. You could have Secret. Like, there's so many characters. Like, I'm just, oh my god. Like, I look and then I think about the fact I keep like grazing over this, but then I keep looking at this young man with this Jerry curl, and I go, this is wrong. This is wrong on so many levels. Why did you make Jefferson Pierce the first Black character to ever have his own ongoing at DC Comics a child? Why? You not only took away the Black from his namesake, like it was a problem, and you said, let's just make him Lightning. His daughter's name, mind you, Lightning. We're gonna make him just be known as Lightning because we think calling him Black Lightning is problematic. What? That'd be like people calling Black Panther Panther. Hey, yo, Panther, what's up, man? Let's have Teen Avengers Academy. You're Panther.
It doesn't have the same ring to it. It really doesn't. It almost feels worse just calling him Lightning than it does calling him Black Lightning. Like, for real. And like, it's Black Lightning. For real. Like, how hard is it that? There is Black Lightning for one. Like, there is darker forms of lightning if we have to really get scientific with it. But like, he's a comic book character. You could have just kept him as Black Lightning as a teacher role in this, and then maybe actually bring Lightning into this, and then that would make more sense. And then you could have a like father-daughter situation going on. You could even have the whole idea of like, oh my gosh, what is it called when one parent is given they're like being more happy with the one student than the other one. Yeah, favoritism. And there's favoritism going on. You could talk about that stuff then, you know? You could put those ideas into the stories and actually have some developments that goes on with these characters. But no, we're gonna regress a character to being something that he's not and calling him Lightning, which he's not.
And it's like, I respect them putting Mr. Terrific to be a part of this because they're like cashing in the zeitgeist of him being in the Superman movie, which good on you for that. You paid attention to that. But I'm also sitting here like, they just retconned it in the comics that Jefferson and Michael went to school together. What? Huh? Like, I don't understand. And what really frustrated me was right before we started the show, there was a comment that someone put up. I'm gonna put this on screen because someone commented on my video where I talked about this, and they wrote, and I quote, "I have no problem with not putting Black in front of Lightning's name, especially for a kid's show. Oh my God. Imagine going into kindergarten and people start calling you Black Devin because every superhero they show, every superhero show they watch with a Black character puts Black in front of their name. Imagine if the Spider-Verse movies were called Black Spider-Man. What the fuck? I'm going to go on a black run and then take a black shower and have some black breakfast in my black kitchen. Then tonight I'll have some black dinner. And can we just be ourselves instead of having to be our skin color plus ourselves?" Hold on. Hold on. I can see B. B was B before the show. Because I'm like, what like that this is such a such a a bass backwards thought to this, where I brought the point of, what if they just called T'Challa Panther and not Black Panther? Because this makes absolutely no sense why you would say this, because like Miles already gets enough hate when it comes to him being that way. But so that's a whole other conversation. But Black Lightning has been that way for so long. Like, granted, they've done some things like that over the years. Like they took Bill Foster from being Black Goliath to just being Goliath after a while, which fine, cool, whatever. That was a creative choice. But this is Black Lightning. This is his name. This is who he is as a person. This is his superhero identity. This has always been his identity. They even had him in Young Justice, the TV show, what, 4 years ago? As Black Lightning, he's the only black superhero to have his own live action TV show from DC, and he was Black Lightning. So why are you making the connotation that it would be like Black Breakfast to go by Black Kitchen? Like like it may have started as that idea of like, oh, they want to show that he's black, so they're going to tie it to how Black Panther is that way and call him Black Lightning. Cool, whatever. But that doesn't mean we need to change up and switch up now. We can have other superheroes to call them different things. That's fine. But this is a character that is the first. This is the first black superhero to ever have his own ongoing. We should give him the respect that he deserves and call him by his goddamn name. Like, his 50th anniversary is in January, and DC's not doing a damn thing to celebrate it. What?
Like I don't get how it feels wrong calling him Black Lightning is the thing just because he's black. So it's wrong because like no, that don't make no sense to me. This comment broke my brain every single way from sideways. So to start off, yes, like it could be seen as problematic, but at the end of the day, we all refer to ourselves as black because that's how we use our connotation here in America. So it's not problematic, it's his name. Like that's like me going up to you and just completely disregarding any name that you've ever given me and or any pronoun that you've ever given me, and then I just start referring to you as whatever I feel like that day, you know?
Mhm.
Like with we are not that cool. I don't get to just start giving you nicknames. It doesn't work that way. Black Lightning is like top of the line. That's if I were to take the super out of Superman and just call him man. Like it just feels wrong. It's not right.
Yeah, it just it feels disrespectful and purposeful. Like it, you know what it feels like. Me and I made a joke about this in my video where I talked about this. It feels like the M'Baku situation where they don't want to call him Man Ape. They don't want to lean into the fact that he's a gorilla based villain. They keep it real specific. They don't want to make him a villain and degrade him as the leader of the Jabari tribe. They specifically don't acknowledge him being in the monkey suit from the comics. They specifically do it that way. That way, it doesn't seem problematic. This show feels like a bunch of white people in a room trying to make decisions about black characters, and that's such a problem. You're afraid to talk about different things, and what it reminds me of, it feels like somebody watched that one. I forget if it was a Robot Chicken sketch or if it was a. Oh no, it was Harvey Birdman. It was or Space Ghost Coast to Coast, one of the two. And they had Phil Lamar voice Black Vulcan, and he made a bunch of jokes about like him being called Black Vulcan. I like it was very purposeful when they made that joke. Let me see if I can find the clip because now it's gonna bug me if I don't show it. because it was very purposeful the way it was Harvey Birdman, because like it was very specific how he goes about racial profiling. Yeah, there we go. Let me make sure the audio's live. Because it was very purposeful the way they did it. And I feel like people are trying to get the same connotation, and I'm just like, why?
State your name for the record. Black Vulcan. Mr. Vulcan, tell us about your superpower.
Pure electricity.
Ooh.
In my
Oh
pants.
my.
Sorry, man.
Tell us, what would life be like without your powers?
Well, you know how it is when the power goes out in your house? It would be like that, only in your pants.
Indeed. Your witness.
Isn't it true that the reason you left the Super Friends is because you were fired? Fired? Fired! Why?
They said it was some sort of budget thing, but I think it's because I complained that they're always pairing me up with a white super friend. Like I was gonna start super looting the minute they weren't watching. And you think I named myself Black Vulcan? Hell no. I used to go by Supervolt. Black Vulcan was Aquaman's idea. And I said, well, maybe we should just call you Whitefish.
And it feels like somebody in corporate saw that clip. It feels like somebody in a corporate setting saw that clip and said, we're going to have an opinion about this thing because y'all like we're worried about seeing like coming off problematic. And I'm just sitting here like,
The issue for me is it feels more problematic to take the name off because it feels like you're now skirting away from something in which like it's not his whole identity, but it is part of that identity. Like he appeared onto the scene with throwing the like shades on and his afro being attached to it and everything, and then he would talk all in, a little more swag and all that other jazz before, then he puts on the suit and all of that other jazz. Like there was a premise to this character that, was problematic at the time that he came out. It was still fun though. It was still fun though. I hate to say it. I look back at that and all I can do is laugh now and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Like there's progression to this. And then just to take that away just kind of shows that you're ashamed of the progression to where we've gotten to now. That's how it feels to me at this point. If you're really going to be dropping that name, because it irks me. That just irks me.
yeah, that's the best way to put it, where it's like it feels like they're afraid of talking about it, and it's just like you're trying to do a thing for no reason, and it's like, why? So I don't know. We'll definitely revisit it once it does come out. But the last thing in regards to this specific topic I want to highlight is the issue at hand when it comes to people seeing the announcement of us getting an absolute Batman TV show. And oh boy, this one stirred up a lot of people when it comes to things, because I was like at first I was like, yay, and then I went, oh wait, no, not yay. Because while this is great for people, for Scott Snyder, this is great for Nick Dragotta, this is great for people who are fans of Absolute Batman, and the speculator market has gone through the roof over this book. If you look at Key Collector right now, Absolute Batman is freaking tripping. So that is a whole conversation in its own right. This, not only with the crypto show, not only with the Joker show, not only with the DC Superpower show now, a lot of people are sitting here and going, did we need these? Did we need these shows? And more importantly, maybe we need to have a deeper conversation about the disrespect towards Wonder Woman. Because Wonder Woman, the third of the Trinity, the Trinity, is consistently being disrespected. She is consistently never given the same level of like opportunities as Batman and Superman, despite being one of the only superheroes along with Batman and Superman to survive the culling that was the Comics Code Authority back in the day. Like, she is never been given the same opportunities as those two men, and that has been a topic of discussion amongst the internet since these announcements rolled out. Wonder Woman had a video game that was supposed to come out where they were going to be using the Nemesis system from the Lord of the Rings games. That has seemingly just fizzled out. There has been no announcements about it. The studio that was making it took a loss or something like that, but like there has been no developments when it comes to the game. To my knowledge, it hasn't been canceled. But there's been no animated projects for Wonder Woman since those 2 movies she had already, like featuring her in Justice League capacities. And it just feels like this is the continuation of the disrespect towards her, especially when you think of the fact that despite horrible critic reviews, the people have been, like we do with different Black titles and different queer titles, have been buying the main Wonder Woman title out of obligation, because despite them hating the book and what Tom King is doing with it, they are continually buying the book out of obligation because they feel it is necessary to continue the longevity of the book. And they are stuck in a predicament where they would love to just drop the sales of it. That way they show DC, we hate Tom King and we don't want him writing women ever again. But they feel like they can't, because if they drop it low enough, they may never get a Wonder Woman book again, despite that should never even be in the equation, because it's Wonder Woman. She's the only one of the Trinity that doesn't have a supplementary book like Action Comics or Detective Comics. Where's the Sensation Comics book? They do like one special every couple of years called Sensation Comics Special, but that's about it. Like, she should have another ongoing called Sensation Comics. And also, Absolute Wonder Woman was one of the highest rated titles of last year from from League of Comic Geeks. So why on earth is Diana consistently being given the shaft? Be your thoughts before I give my thoughts.
So it angers me because, like, as the Joker fan, I like the Joker TV show idea, but that should have been an absolute Wonder Woman. In all honesty, they should have said for their animated series that they're giving an absolute Batman, absolute Wonder Woman, and like absolute Green Lantern or Flash, whichever one they really feel like they want to throw in there a little bit more. You know, I would lean towards Green Lantern personally because I've been loving that story. But the fact that they're just disregarding a perfectly written book, a perfectly written Wonder Woman, to where like it breaks the lore up just enough but keeps her to her core, like who Wonder Woman is at the end of the day. And everybody has been raving about this. Like every time I get on TikTok and I see Wonder Woman, it's always, here's the Wonder Woman this week from Tom King, and then here's Kelly Thompson's absolute Wonder Woman run. Oh my God, it's so amazing. Let me tell you what happened in it this week. It's been absolutely wonderful. Like everybody's just going off on it. So the fact that DC has been dropping the sensational, has been allowing the mainline run to be getting such horrible bomb reviews online, and then dropping the bomb when it comes to saying like, hey, here's a video game. Hey, here's like a little extra something for you. And we're still getting crickets when it comes down to the Wonder Woman TV or the Wonder Woman movie from the DCU, which, don't get me wrong, it's coming down the pipeline. I understand that, but it's still, the silence is echoing. And that is terrifying for these people, because we were lighting the fire all the way back in February when it comes down to the DC So Whites and campaign and everything. I guarantee chronologically, these people are going to start thinking the same thing of saying, we might have to start protesting Wonder Woman. And I don't want them to do that. I love absolute Wonder Woman. But at the same time, though, I'm not going to be picking it up. I'm not going to have to be doing that if DC just shows me that it's not worth my time. If it's not worth their time, then why should I bother reading it? If you guys have no backing for it, if you guys have no way of not publishing it, but like publicizing it besides for your content creators, why should I enjoy it? Why should I be excited about it when it's just going to be, we're throwing it off to the side and we're just going to have the Batman again? It feels like I'm just having another knife put into my back, and I just have to sit with it as a comic book creator or a comic book enjoyer from DC.
And I think the thing that kind of spoke a lot to me as well was there was this idea that Kelly Thompson, the writer of Absolute Wonder Woman, came out on social media and was like super excited for Scott and Nick, was super excited for them to get that opportunity, but then was also like, hey, maybe this means that Diana will get to be featured because they have a two tie-in issues like recently, and this is awesome. And it's like, it shouldn't even be a question, girl, that you would get anything. You should get your own show. We shouldn't have to backdoor pilot you when it comes to this. You should just get your own show. Like, why are we even having this conversation? Like, people, like I mentioned this earlier before, like when we were talking about this, but Diana being a part of the Mount Rushmore is fact. Anyone who tries to say otherwise doesn't actually read comic books, or they might have an issue with women, and that's something that we need to talk about. And at the end of the day, if you don't like her, that's cool. A lot of people don't like Batman, and a lot of people don't like Superman, because notice they didn't announce an absolute Superman show. There's the issue at hand is that there's a lot of women who are inspired by Wonder Woman. Like I remember reading the story about how when Denny O'Neil took away Diana's bracelets and her powers and made her just be a kung fu fighter, you had like feminist icons coming out in protest of that back in the day, and Denny O'Neil got the shaft for that. Like he got like railed for that decision to do Diana like that. And it showed that women care. Like just because you tried to like give her more agency and make her more humanized doesn't mean the females don't actually care about the representation they had in Diana with her powers. So to see the disrespect level I see from DC, man, I feel bad for Wonder Woman fans, because like I have such an immense respect for Wonder Woman, even though I'm not a Wonder Woman fan, and it makes me just kind of tilt my head and go, there's a whole market you could have had here, and you chose to not care about it. Do you remember how much people tripped about that? Like, bro, like that rift. Like, even if you didn't like
I
the
remember
damn
going to
movie,
the theaters and like that rift every single time it came on. Like there was a joke at some point during the Zack Snyder movie to where it was just like every time Diana came on, they put the rift on because it was that good. Because the rift got you excited for Diana. I was so hyped for every single thing that was Wonder Woman at that time because the rift was so good. Because you enjoyed it. Say what it is when it comes down to those movies and stuff like that. But it got me excited to actually pick up Wonder Woman comics, you know? And it makes
yeah.
me so sad that she only gets 2 movies, and then there you go. You're just basically a side character for the rest of the time, for the rest of eternity, it feels like. Even though, like, yeah, we might see her in Absolute Batman, but I shouldn't have to wait through an entire season of Absolute Batman just for you to give me a cameo of Absolute Wonder Woman for season 2, and then I finally get to get my like season of Wonder Woman. Like, it shouldn't have to work that way.
It's frustrating because it goes back to this idea that I joke about with, ironically, another Brian Edward Hill story, the idea of Batman and the Outsiders, or as I lovingly refer to it, Batman and the Minorities, where you feel as if there's this obligation to include Batman in your product, that way other people can get shine. No, genius, the product will get good attention and shine, and people will review it well if you make a good product and you promote it well. It doesn't need Batman stank on it just to get people to pay attention to it. I remember watching the Justice League Dark animated movie, and just randomly Batman's here. Batman don't give a shit about no ghosts, no spirits, no magic. Why is he here? What? It was so nonsensical, and it was so frustrating. And I'm just like, it was the epitome of saying you have no faith in your product. And this with this like this that's what this feels like, is if they use this to try to see if people would like a Wonder Woman project coming out of Absolute Batman, that will be even more of a tipping to show that they don't actually value Wonder Woman, because it'll say we need to see if they'll come out for that at those few episodes. If they like it and they review it well and the numbers look good, maybe then we'll give her something. And it's like, are you okay? Like, I find it very embarrassing to see this like this. And like I'll say, Matt OG put it perfectly in chat, where he's like, promoting things in DC are rarely in the same room unless Batman is involved. And I'm like, yeah. It and again, yeah, like it feels like that. And again, I'm not going to like throw shade at Snyder or Dragotta and be like, hey, um, this is like this is dope for you and whatnot. That's great. But I'm also sitting here going, you could have gave me a Wonder Woman TV show. You could have given me a what absolute Wonder Woman included with this. You could have given me I understand the crypto show was probably going to be very Jeff the Landshark inspired, where it's meant for little kids. But you couldn't give me a Wonder Woman show instead of that Joker show? Really? Really?
And that's the thing, is like, I'm gonna get Joker in the absolute Batman. That's the thing that kills me, is like, now I'm doubling up on my Joker here instead of you guys, what is it, diversifying the profile and trying to get more things out there and trying to at least show that, like, here's the thing that we've been working on for the past year, instead of it just being like, here's your Batman again. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
really cool. I love the absolute Batman. Everybody raves about it. He's super dope. But DC cannot just keep relying on Batman the entire time.
Yeah, it's getting to be too much, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, DC pays attention to the folks that have been very upset about this. Hopefully, we see change down the pipeline. But right now, it just seems like it's falling on deaf ears, and the silence is deafening. That's the best way to put that right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, for the final topic of the evening, let us talk about the Supergirl movie. It has finally come out. We have both seen it. It is a thing that exists, and I have thoughts, and I want to express those thoughts, because I very much went into this hopeful. I went into this very excited to see Millie Alcock like put on her thing and do it all. Like, I was excited to see what James Gunn's second run in with this new universe. Well, technically third or fourth if you think about Peacemaker, but I don't like to think about Peacemaker. But that's just me. Um, the second like movie version of this, technically, if we don't count Suicide Squad. And to be honest with you, I feel like this was a really solid movie. It was a really solid movie that it hit the notes it needed to hit. It has some like structural issues as you watch it. It has a lot of interesting things that go on where it could have been better at places, but overall it achieved what it wanted to achieve. And I think it this would have been a great movie in like phase 1 MCU, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like this is meant to be like not cutting edge, not like groundbreaking, not to be the next best thing. It's meant to be a good solid flick. And I think what a lot of people's problem is with this is DC didn't need a solid flick right now. DC needed a banger. And this is not hitting where people expected it to. And this is kind of in the same vein as the Marvels, or just like the Marvels or the Eternals, all these different movies that came out in the past few years that have been solid ideas, solid scripts, well acted at times, but it just wasn't the craziest thing to break the mold or anything like that when these respective companies needed dubs. And I think that's what has like me kind of tilting my head, and what a lot of people hating on this movie, because you already knew the sexist motherfuckers weren't going to be out here talking shit. You knew the neckbeards were going to be out here. There was people talking so much shit on this young girl, man. Like, she's a solid actress. She takes the script and she gives you exactly what Tom King wrote to a T. She gives you exactly what Tom King wrote in that damn book to a T, and does it like immaculately. She does a very good job, and I feel like she deserved a better project. They needed to tighten the script up a little bit, make it be a little bit hotter, and like she deserved a better picture than this. But I feel like it just needed some more gas. It's like that meme of, I know what's wrong with it, and it got no gas in it. It needed a little bit more gas in it. And I feel like you take the not enough gas in the tank plus the hatred it's getting, and it's already a fight to make it be something good. And it goes back to what we've talked about either in other episodes or even today, where people are going to be seeing this movie out of obligation. Women are going to be seeing this movie out of obligation. Supergirl fans are going to be seeing this movie out of obligation because of the level of disrespect she is getting. And it comes to this point where James Gunn should have realized that he needed to put his best foot forward with this and give them the best product possible. And I don't think he did that. And I feel like this could have had a woman director. This could have had someone with a new perspective brought in to give this the best light possible, even if it was written by like Tom King originally. You could have had a woman come in and give you a better perspective on things. And at the end of the day, I'm sitting here just tilting my head because just like the conversations we've had about Black comic books and Black narratives, that if we don't put our best foot forward, they're going to call it woke even more. They're going to call it trash even more. And at least if it's a good script, a good movie, good execution, all they're going to do is hate in the background. Versus now, the whole narrative is going to be it failed because it was a woman project. It failed because she wasn't pretty, which is diabolical and stupid because she's gorgeous. Like, it is this idea that these weirdo neckbeards living in basements and think they know everything about how women should be treated have been given validity because you didn't put your best foot forward. And I'm sitting here going, why? Be your thoughts.
So ultimately, as a moviegoer, 4 out of 5. I enjoyed the movie. It was solid. I can put complaints in there. There was like some lackluster parts, some portions where I'm like, you could have tightened this up a little bit and stuff like that. But overall, enjoyed it. As a comic book fan, I'm always feeding for more. And that is the issue that I think a lot of people have for this movie, is that you guys are so excited to be seeing all these great things that you read in this comic book, but yet we have the expectations that it's going to be perfect. And it always brings me back to like the Age of Ultron effect, I feel like, to where everybody's had these high expectations of Age of Ultron, to where like you were going to have a cinematic masterpiece and you were going to be able to see this comic book put to life. And then all of a sudden it kind of feels like the couple of weeks of Ultron instead. It really felt like that. And so that's kind of how I felt like with this one, to where like I went in tempered expectations because I knew they were not going to put a celestial dragon into this. That is the thing that I was going to be so hyped for. I wanted to see Supergirl go up against a blue dragon and CGI effects and all of that. But they tempered it down. They wanted to make sure that it stayed within this realm of the DCU. And I can respect that because I don't need all the flashiness from a phase 4 movie and a phase 1 movie, because this was a setup. This was an introduction. We got to see Supergirl for who Supergirl is. She did not break character. She did not change in some character breaking way or anything like that. Lobo's character was fun. Yeah, he could have been taken out of the movie and it still be the same movie, but it also gave me the feeling of a crossover comic book. That's also the other thing. They are trying to bring you vibes and everything like that. When it comes to a crossover comic book, they're not going to be in it the entire time. It's going to be, oh, this person jumps in, he does a thing, then he jumps out and goes, does his own issue, and then he jumps back in and does his thing, and then he leaves and does his own issue. Like, it felt very much like that. It was very much of like, oh, I'm going to have to maybe go see the Lobo movie eventually if they end up doing that. Please, dear God, do, because Jason Momoa was amazing at it. And then I'm spacing on the little girl's name who plays Ruthie. The actress killed it. Absolutely amazing.
Yes, very much so. Eve Ridley, she was phenomenal as Ruthie, most definitely.
And like, child actors get annoying every so often, but like this kid was this kid from the book. Like, I cannot ask any more or any less. It was amazing. And then lastly, we talk about comic book accuracy when it comes down to like TV shows or movies as comic book fans. Would we have really enjoyed comic book accuracy if we got the horse? Because I really need people to be serious on that. If Supergirl's horse came into this and we all had to go through the fact that he became a horse into a man, would the audience have accepted that? Because I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have brought like 50-50. You might have had a couple people who were like okay with it, but like majority of people would look at that and be like, I appreciate it, but where the hell did this horse come from? Like, that's how most people would end up acting at that point, you know? So, like, you got to pick and choose your guys' battles here. And I would say a solid, like, 4 out of 5 for a Supergirl movie, especially since we haven't had a good DCU movie, like Superman put aside, you know, after the range of years of DC movies that we've gotten. The fact that we've got Superman and then Supergirl, both of them good movies, and I can sit there and put them on replay and enjoy them and not have to break my brain because for some reason Superman's bad for this universe and then he does good things in another universe and we have to tie everything together like we did with the Snyderverse. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with how it started. I could have been better. It could have been a lot worse though. And the music was solid. I'll give it that.
And it's just it's very frustrating, and I'm trying to like look over this comment section. I'm trying to figure out why people are beefing in my comments, but like I'm sitting here just trying to understand why they wouldn't put their best foot forward, because and I very much I will agree with what you said about Momoa. Momoa comes in and Momoa has a good time. Momoa does the same thing that he does in the Whedon cut of Justice League, where he's just like, yeah, throwing shit, having a good time, yeah, because he was made to be Lobo. That man was birthed to be Lobo in live action, and I agree with what he said. When it comes to the whole thing, where he straight up said, "Hey, if they ever make a Lobo movie, that shit better be rated R." And I'm like, yeah, give him 90s grunge in the greatest way possible and make it rated R. But at the same time, Billy deserved a better movie than this. Like, and what's also concerning is the same person who wrote this script is writing the Wonder Woman movie. And I'm also just like, this is concerning. If this is what you do for your Supergirl, how you do for your Wonder Woman? What you gonna do then? Because it's like it feels as if the right people aren't being consulted about this nonsense. And it's like I genuinely need like the right things to be done with these. Otherwise, like women aren't gonna get the representation they need. Like they deserve the best foot forward, and y'all ain't giving it to them. And a lot of them feel like they're going to this movie out of obligation. I would say I don't want to rate it out of 5. I want to rate it out of 10 because I need a wider scale for this. I'm sitting at a comfy 7.5. I'm sitting at a real comfy 7.5 because I liked a lot that it had to offer, but I feel like it just didn't have enough gas in the tank. I feel like it needed a couple more script revisions. I think the complaints people had were just outlandish. Like, why are her ears pierced? Yada yada. Brother, she came from a planet with no yellow sun. What do you mean? Like, there was people like complaining about her looks and stuff like that. They weren't even looking at the cinematography. They weren't looking at the presentation. Like the movie was gorgeous. It had a lot to offer, and it just didn't do enough of it. It needed to go harder. It needed to do more, and I feel like it just didn't have enough gas in the tank. And I feel like it did a disservice to Billy. She deserved a better product. And now these neckbeards are going to be out of full force. They're going to be saying it was like the Marvels and all this other shit. It's like, first of all, the Marvels was a great movie. It just came out during an actor strike. It was an actor strike. It was an actor strike. It was actor strike. It was during the actor strike. They couldn't promote it, and it also dealt with the neckbeards. So it was put in a horrible predicament where it couldn't get the love that it deserved, and it was just stuck there. And the same thing happened with Captain Marvel, where the neckbeards were hating on it and shit like that. They think they know better, and it's just like, ugh, Jesus Christ. So I hope that they will learn the lessons that they need to, because Wonder Woman needs to be the most A game possible. I was looking at what Peter Safran said in an interview this past week, where he said, while Supergirl didn't meet our box office expectations, it's just one component of a broader long-term strategy at DC Studios that we remain confident in. And here's my thought with that. This I want to echo something that I saw as I was leaving the movie theater. I think Movie Bob said it. He said this could have been an easy fall movie. This could have been an easy like fall movie piece. It feels kind of like the movie version of Spider-Man Miles Morales, where it's a companion piece to the Superman movie, where you figure out why she came in drunk at the end of the first quarter, or the first movie. And this should have been not a companion piece. This could have been its own thing. and it didn't go hard enough with its source material. It didn't go hard enough with what it had, and it just needed to go harder, and it chose to not do that. So it looks like the equivalent of a fall movie when it could have been a summer blockbuster. And it was just like, why?
I can agree with that. And it's just because I'm not going to say that DC didn't have faith in it, but it felt very much a more that DC wanted to just try to get this movie out and have it be that, you know, the
Right.
very much of just like, hey, here's your Supergirl movie. It's here, it's out. We have some fun stuff in it. It's going to be enjoyable for everybody. And that's basically what the premise felt like they were trying to do. And to hit the mark on the head there, they did good, but that's the issue is like, as a comic book fan, when I'm walking out of that movie and I have to look over to my girlfriend and be like, in the comic books, Krypto's a Kryptonian. So by the end of it, you know, he didn't really need the poison or the antidote to heal from the poison because he's a Kryptonian and he was already around a yellow. So like there's certain things there that make me go like, you guys weren't fully there. You know, I'll have those criticisms for it because I want these movies to do better. But then at the same time, the director and the writer choice needs to make sure they line up because I felt like the script was there. I felt like the layout and everything was there, but the direction on a few things when it comes down to how it was presented to me definitely felt like there was confliction there. And like, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no. And like one of my main things too is to where like I loved the fight scenes in this. There was the end scene to where she was ragdoll in creme through the whole like fight scene at the end. And I was like, yeah, this is dope. This is exactly what you look for a superhero movie. But then there's certain points where it's like, all right, we're in a bar. All right, she's arm wrestling now. Okay, I get it. I understand. I understand what we're trying to get at this point. But like, you need to fix some blocking. You need to fix some ways that this is going to be shown to me because it didn't quite hit the mark, you know?
Yeah, it feels like, and what was it? Someone asked in the chat, do you think a female director would have what would have been better? Yes, for most definitely. I feel like it's the same thing with like when you trusted a Black Panther to be from a black perspective. If you trust, or like how Patty Jenkins directed the Wonder Woman movie, it feels like when you give women the ability to cook, when you let black people the ability to cook, like, yeah, you'll have your misses here and there. Like, not everyone hits every note. Granted, 1984 Wonder Woman wasn't the best, but it was still it was a pretty good movie. It wasn't the best thing, but genuinely, this coming from a woman's perspective, the idea of PTSD, the idea of grief, drunken grief, and the idea of exploring that while also helping a young girl with her grief and issues that she's dealing with, trying to get her revenge. This could have been such a more powerful like push, and yet you chose not to. And what really frustrates me is the reporting that this opening weekend has a less financial turnout than the Marvels and Morbius. Morbius was horrible. Morbius was horrible direction, horrible acting, horrible everything. This is like this situation with Supergirl is because of horrible sexism, horrible directing when it needed a better directing and better push when it comes to actually believing in the source material, and maybe a couple more cracks that script. Everything else, the cinematography was great, the acting was great, everything else, perfect. But this needed a little bit more of a couple other things versus where Morbius was just death incarnate, and it was horrible. And it showed us that we should never let that man act ever again. And yet he's still doing shit, and it bothers me. And he even went on to ruin one of my favorite franchises in Tron. But in general, I feel like this could have been a lot better. And I feel like Gunn failed Supergirl, and he could have done better by these individuals. So I don't know. Like I said, 7.5 out of 10. I feel like the female fans deserve better. Supergirl fans deserve better. And that's where I'm gonna leave that. I'll say B said 4 out of 5, but that's where I'm gonna like leave that for there. Like Cat Diesel said in chat, what would be better exactly though? Is it a tone thing? I feel like a lot of a lot of critiques are very vague. So it's the idea that it just needed more gas is the way I keep putting it, because like the critique is very much like giving the movie time to like be out. The idea letting people like not to be too spoiler with the critique. I'm not diving too much into this. I'm like, this is one of those movies that I didn't have too much investment in. So I'm like this was more for other people. I went to go be a supporter. Critically, I'm saying that when it comes to certain scenes, when it comes to her identifying her trauma in certain spots, when it was like, this just needed more gas. And it's kind of the same, it's almost the same critique that I had with the Superman movie to a certain extent, where it just didn't lean hard enough into certain aspects. And like I remember saying that when the Superman movie came out, where it's just like it had the perfect Hope Corps man vibes that it needed to have. But I was more worried about everybody else and not Superman, because it wasn't enough of a Superman project. So it is kind of the same critique, but in a different way, where it's like I needed more Supergirl, I needed more care, like Kara's struggle, I needed more of that aspects. I needed to actually feel the push from the narrative of the original comic book. So overall, that's where I'm going to put that, if that makes sense. Being
Best
like,
way
do
I
you have any
could
more thoughts on that?
best way I could vibe it is getting more of the internal battle that I would have seen Supergirl having, because they gave us that through the movie, but there's just an aspect to it to where it didn't quite crack throughout the entire movie. And as I like left the theater and I saw everybody else's reviews, a lot of people were very much of like not understanding why Supergirl was the way that she was, but almost annoyed by the way that she was. And I felt like if they would have maybe like honed in on that more when it comes down to like what happened prior to Supergirl from this movie and everything, when it comes to losing her civilization, it would have hit a lot differently for the audience. And if they would have built that a little bit better, oh yeah, people would be complaining a lot less.
Most definitely, yeah. Because it was already fighting an uphill battle from the idiot's perspective of the sexism. It was everything else that needed to be on point. That way, this movie could survive, if that makes sense. So it just needed more gas. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. I'm hoping that Wonder Woman has better over time, but that's where I'm gonna just leave that. So we will be back next week, folks. The show is back to being weekly. You will see us here each week. The goal is moving forward, now that we are into 50 episodes, we are going to be talking more about comics, like especially when news isn't as deep in. I definitely want to be doing a deep dive of Exquisite Corpses season 1. That way we actually can sit down and talk about all of that. Shout out to the folks over at Sweet Shop, because I was able to get all 13 issues of the Exquisite Corpses to reread, because I have my physical copies and I didn't want to open those, and I had a couple of the issues on Dion Ichiban, but I was like, nah, I want to get all of it on Sweet Shop, because Sweet Shop's been the vibe right now. But make sure that you check out Sweet Shop, trying to get access to their beta. They officially have Ignition Press. Ignition Press is officially, their digital home is on Sweet Shop. So check that out via the app stores. You can check that out. It's a great application. Don't forget, folks, that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places. And make sure that you check out episode 51, which will be premiering as well on Tuesday with this episode on all the platforms, because I had an exclusive interview with Danny J. Quick, the writer of Ace Blade. His Kickstarter for issue number 10 is currently going on right now, and we are going to use the time that we have left to highlight some ongoing Kickstarters that are going on at the moment. Give me 1 second here. I'm about to look. Let me pull my stuff here. So one of the Kickstarters that I wanted to highlight was Ace Blade. Matter of fact, B, can you pull up Kickstarter, because I actually need to pay a Kickstarter tomorrow, so I can't actually show mine right now, because it looks like I have a giant red banner that looks kind of unprofessional at the moment.
Let's see. Oh, now you want me to sign in. I see how it is.
You know what? Here, I'll just do it like this. I'll just do it like this. We'll just do it like this. I got it. We'll do it just like this. Let me share this tab instead. So first off, and I'll probably cut that bit because we have Ace Blade number 10 that is out right now. I sat down with DJ Quick for to talk about this whole thing. It's already funded, which is dope, but you have so many amazing awards that you can get a part of this. You can get all 10 issues of Ace Blade. That way you can catch up on the entire series. There's 10 different variant covers of this current run that you can definitely get a hold of. There's a Sanford Green cover. Your boy had to get that.
I'm gonna have to be snagging that.
Your boy had to get that. That was on deck. Sanford Green, friend of the show, Blurred Without Fear, even has a cover that's a part of this, and that will actually be the thumbnail for the episode. I must say, definitely check that out. Thanks to me, apparently, he has opened up the Kickstarter to have plus size options for the Ace Blade t-shirts. So
Hey,
definitely checking
go.
that out. Most definitely. But there was also a couple other Kickstarters we definitely wanted to highlight. I must say, Scion just ended, so like we don't gotta work highlight the. What else did you have?
I did the Ghost Brawler by Rob Gilroy and John Layman. I think that one already hit its total too. It like got funded within 10 hours. I think I saw, or something like that, 2 hours or something. They had a whole banner on there when I was checking right after work today.
You said Ghost Brawler?
Yep, Ghost Brawler.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, I remember saw this. Like, we did a story on Comics Beat about this.
Yep.
So yeah, like this, like they already doubled their goal. Holy crap! Yeah.
And then another one that I saw that Tashi also put in there was
yes, Wikipedia Brown. I saw this. This looks dope as hell. I also have two more. Wikipedia Brown in the case of the Hotep heist. This looks friggin' awesome. I'm definitely about to have to add something to this. They are $50 shy of their, well, $55 shy of their goal. So if you can lend a hand to help them out,
soon.
yeah, we're definitely gonna get them fully funded. They'll be super happy about that. So that'll be definitely another issue that you can check out in regards. There was one other one that I wanted to highlight because friend of the show David Pepos has a Kickstarter going on right now for the OZ. Issue 3 is coming out. It's a steampunk war version of The Wizard of Oz, and it is definitely one of those like books that you have to read. I remember reading issue 1 and thought it was phenomenal, and now issue 3 is coming out where it'll be the culmination of the whole thing. So that'll be worth checking out as well. And the goal is going to be like whenever there are amazing campaigns that we can help support, we're definitely going to be highlighting them, as well as trying to make sure that we include them in the show notes. That way you're aware of them. And we're going to be doing more interviews. The goal is to have like an interview a week. Like, I don't know if I'll have one like this coming week, but I also already have one banked because next week we will be having a sit down interview with the godfather of Black horror himself, Rodney Barnes. So that is going to be one that you'll be getting to see us talk about next week. That'll be phenomenal. So we will definitely be doing more highlights and different things like this. Make sure that you check out these different Kickstarters. We'll have them in the show notes. Do you think the 25 minutes they took out of would have been best seeing studio second guest? Oh man, maybe. Like for Supergirl, maybe. But we will definitely be catching you guys next week. Don't forget, folks, that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places, and follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure that you follow us there. Tashi has been phenomenal with making clips for the show. We had an amazing episode with the sales director of Ignition Press, Dan Crary. He was phenomenal. We sat down with him, and he gave probably one of my favorite explanations as to why not making books about marginalized characters doesn't make a lick of sense. And it was one of my favorite things that anyone's ever said about why representation matters. So definitely go check that out. Check out that interview and check out our 50th episode where I sat down with the now Eisner nominated folks from the anthology Noir is the New Black, because that interview was phenomenal. We had Joseph Illidge, Greg Burnham, ChrisCross, and Quinn McGowan. That was a phenomenal interview. And I'm just thankful to be back. Yeah, I'm thankful that B's still here. Tasha will be back next week. We're going to definitely be having more episodes, just enjoying comics and like unmasking everything and giving our opinions because we feel that it matters. B, what do you want to leave the people with this week?
Episode 49. Half my state is on fire. things are going absolutely crazy here, but I still managed to go out and touch grass and drink water. So I hope all of you are able to do that as well. Stay safe and just try to have a positive attitude everywhere you go, because it will change one day and things will get better.
All right. All right. Well, we folks will catch you next week. Peace.